So I was scrolling on Facebook and I came across this post talking about how this language is about to die out because the last speaker of it, the last fluent speaker, excuse me, she's really old. And the issue with this is that this language is primarily oral. You know, all of the history and the traditions and the culture are passed down orally. It's not written down. So once this lady passes away, that's pretty much it, right? And I got to sitting here thinking, I was like, now, how on earth could this language have ended up in this condition? How did we get to the point where only one person speaks this language? And then I said, well, duh, white people. Now, this language is spelled N-U-U, but between the N and the first U, there is a straight line that is not a lowercase L. Now, if it were a lowercase L, I'd be pronouncing this like nu or something, but it's not a lowercase L. It's like, it's one of those straight lines. I can't think of what it's called, but when you type in something, you might put a straight line on one end or something and the other end. It's one of those. Right? And I'm positive it's not an L because it's taller than the uppercase N. If it were an L, it would be the same height as the uppercase N. Okay. So I've never seen anything that looks like this. I'm gonna call it the new language, N-U-U. But again, I don't know why this line is between the N and the U. Somebody can educate me in the comments, right? But this language is a critically endangered sign language of Southern Africa, and it was thought to be extinct until the late 1990s when elderly speakers from the Komani community were rediscovered. While there are ongoing efforts to preserve and teach the language, its decline is due to a history of colonialism, apartheid, and forced assimilation, leading to the marginalization and suppression of the language and its speakers. This language was spoken by hunter-gatherer communities in southern Africa who were largely displaced and assimilated by European settlers, and later by the apartheid regime in South Africa, which prompted Afrikaans and Nama as dominant languages. Speakers often hid their language due to stigma and fear of persecution during the apartheid era, contributing to its apparent decline. Y'all, I am tearing up reading this. I'm literally tearing up reading this. Okay, now hold up, because I just learned something, because I went on Wikipedia to get a little bit more background on, the history of this language and what happened to it. And it says that the letter that looks like a vertical bar, because remember I said it was in with the line, a straight line that was not an L, and then UU. I was like, I know that's not an L, right? But this represents a dental click, like the English interjection. Then it spells TSK, which I think is supposed to be pronounced like, right? So I guess this language is supposed to be named something like Lu, I guess. Okay, I'm not gonna even try it and mess up your language, but the point is there's supposed to be a click there. Now, I'm not going to bother to read anything else from the Wikipedia article because it doesn't really share much more on like the history of the dialect concerning what happened to it, talking about apartheid and assimilation. It kind of briefly just brushes over it, but it doesn't go into great detail. So instead, I'm going to just go ahead and discuss what I already read, right? The fact that white people have destroyed so many cultures, so much history, so much everything. Like, the first thing I thought about as soon as I scrolled past this post, as soon as I read, oh, this language is dying out, there's only one speaker of it left, and then I realized, oh, this is an African language, but what do we really think happened here, right? And I'm tearing up because I'm not South African, I'm not descended from South Africa or anything like that, right? But I'm tearing up because, does it really matter if you South African or not? Because doesn't this story sound so familiar to what has happened to so many black people everywhere? It's crazy because, I've gotten into so many back and forths with Africans over the years, right? Like, so many. And the first thing Africans love to say online is, oh, black Americans don't have no culture. Well, first of all, you sound dumb. You just sound dumb because, we all know that wherever you at, whatever you doing, you're participating in black American culture. But let's not even highlight that. Let's entertain that for a second. Let's pretend that black Americans really didn't have a culture, right? Is that anything to make fun of? Because you're literally just making fun of what Black Americans went through at the hands of white people. And did you not go through it too? In your own hood at that? Like, you know, I'm not trying to rub it in nobody's face or nothing, but at least Black Americans were abducted from home and had to deal with this. You was in your own hood and got did how you got did, right? In fact, I see a lot of parallels between Black Americans and this story right here, right? The people were so stigmatized that they wouldn't even speak their language in public. That sounds a lot like Ebonics, now known as AAVE, right? Growing up, Ebonics was viewed as ignorant and stupid and, oh, yeah, you dumb if you speak that, so and so and so. You know the crazy thing, though? The crazy thing now is all the linguists and the researchers are studying Ebonics and they're saying, wow, this is actually really intricate. This is a really complex dialect. And I see the same thing with this language, right? These people were so stigmatized. I bet white people went over there calling it inferior. Oh, that's some old African clicking so and so and so, whatever, right? And now when you go on Wikipedia and you read about this language, they talking about, wow, this is one of the most complex languages ever. Y'all know I went to Colorado a couple weeks ago for my birthday, and it was funny because while we were there, my brother was like, yeah, it really looks like an old Western movie and stuff, right? And we were all like, yeah. And then we were like, yeah, can't you just imagine a bunch of buffalo grazing here and eating all the grass or whatever, right? We were all like, yeah, like you can see it, right? And then that brings up the thought that the reason there aren't really a lot of buffalo anymore is because white people killed them all off. Why did they do that? Because they realized that Native Americans depended on buffaloes for so many things, for food, and they used their fur for whatever, right? So white people said, well, if we kill off the buffalo, then we're going to kill off the Native Americans. And that's what they tried to do, right? And now you go out west and you can barely see a buffalo. I saw one on a nature reserve. I kid you not. And that was the buffalo area. I saw one buffalo, right? And I'm saying all this to say, white people have done this so much throughout history. They go places and they just destroy shit, right? They've destroyed so many languages. They've had entire groups of people go extinct, right? They kill off all the animals and all of this other stuff. They done poached all the rhinos for their horns in Africa and all this other crazy stuff. Ivory from the elephants, whatever, right? And I'm just tearing up literally because it's like they have destroyed so much. And please, before any white people come and comment under the video victimizing themselves, please shut up. This moment is not about you. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Please shut the fuck up, right? And, you know, of course, y'all are also going to be in the comments talking about Flower Tour hates white people. And if that's what you gather from this video, bitch, have a fucking ball, right? Anyway, let's get back to the fucking point, right? It's so hurtful. And reading this, it really makes me think about my own ancestors, right? And our own culture and how white people demonize things about my people, right? And like I said, even though I'm not South African or even remotely related to y'all in any capacity, we went through things so similar because here in the United States, right? Today, it's so common for women to wear wigs and weaves. And that didn't just come out of nowhere. That came from the fact that white people demonized our hair for so long and told us it's ugly and it's this and it's that, right? That didn't come from nowhere. The same way they demonized Ebonics to the point where African Americans didn't even want to speak it. African Americans who were trying to be bougie would speak white people English. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's just so hurtful how they will literally demonize the most beautiful things, the most beautiful cultures. And then it's like, for fucking what? For Afrikaans? Like, y'all replace the most complex language, the new language, with fucking Afrikaans. Are you serious? Like, that was your idea of complexity and beauty and whatever. Like, are we for real here? You want to know the crazy thing though, right? Is even after white people did all of this to every group they've ever encountered, everybody in Africa, the Native Americans, every Asian, whatever, right? Every group they've ever encountered, they have done things like this, destroyed languages, killed off the wildlife, killed off the people, right? There are entire groups of people who are no longer here because of white people, like literally, right? Even after white people did all of this, somehow black people are the violent ones, and all of these groups of people worship white people. Like, am I the only person confused here?